Okay, guys, Waheguru Fateh. Good thing today's class let's get started. So let's share the video.
Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. During their time, there was a Gursikh whose name was Bhai Joga Singh. And Bhai Joga Singh, he was doing seva one night. And whilst doing seva, a whole bunch of people who had lots of jealousy and irkha with him, they came to the langar hall. They came outside the langar hall that night and they beat him with sticks and stones. They beat him and beat him and beat him. They beat him so much that they thought that they had killed him. When they took the body of Joga Singh, they left it there, they pushed it to the side, and they made this decision amongst themselves that in the morning, we'll just make a whole bunch of noise and say, oh my God, somebody came and beat up Joga Singh, we have to figure out who it is. So they made these plans. When the morning came, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, every single day, they used to go and they used to walk through the area, they used to walk through the langar. And that day, they're saying, where is Joga Singh? I don't see Joga Singh doing seva here today. And somebody told them that we found Joga Singh's body beat up. Somebody killed him and they threw him outside. But Joga Singh is still healing. He's in that room. Guru Gobind Singh Ji goes to the room. And when Guru Gobind Singh Ji looks at their beloved Gursikh, Joga Singh, they say, hey mere Gursikh, who did this to you? What's happened here? Many people are asking, how did this happen? You must remember who did this. And Joga Singh look at their love. They put their hands together. And with tears coming out of their eyes, they say, hey mere Kalgitar Pacha, I was beaten by my own karmas. I was beaten by my own sins. I have been beaten. And these Jamdoots came and they beat me. But Sache Pacha, look at your blessings. You have saved me. With your hand on top of my head, even these Jamdoots couldn't kill me. And he's in this love. He's experiencing this love. So he's not wanting to say anything. He's just experiencing that love. And when these Gursikhs ask, they say, hey, said Guru Gobind Singh Ji, why is Joga Singh not saying who killed him or who is tried to kill him, who attempted to beat them up and put him in this state? Why is he not putting it onto his tongue? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji says that let me explain this to you. There's something about love, there's something about mithas, that when even there's so much love, that no matter what kood there is, no matter what type of falsehood it is, it can't mix with that truth. Falsehood never mixes with the truth, and let me explain this to you. Because if he puts it out to them, based on his own actions, they're going to go and he believes the truth that the Guru is Samrat. The Guru knows who did this to him. The Guru will take care of it. So Piara, what is the point of doing that Nindya? He wants to keep his mind in the state of love. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji is saying, let me explain to you how falsehood never mixes with the truth. The falsehood always goes away and the truth will always prevail. The truth always prevails. That's why does he need to worry about this? Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, bring me 3 pots. I want you to fill them with water. And in each of them, I want you to put a different item. In the first one, I want you to put patase, sugar puffs. I want you to put sugar in the first one. The second one, I want you to put a clump of dirt. A clump of mitti. And when that clump of dirt is put in the second one, I want you to put a rock, a solid hard rock in the third one. And I want you to cover them up and I want you to leave them for some time. Some time passes. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, lift up the lids of these pots. Everybody just looked into the pots. The very first one, where the sugar puffs were put, it mixed into that water. And you couldn't even tell whether there was sugar puffs in it or not. They had become the form. The sweetness had become the form of the water. And then we look at the dirt clump. It had dissolved, ਢਲ ਗਈ ਸੀ, but it had not let go of its true form. It was still dirt. Some dirt had gone to the bottom of the water, and the rest had mixed into the water, and it made the water dirty as well. So it just looked like mud and filth. And then we looked at the rock, and the rock was the way it was put in. It did not dissolve. It did not let go of its pride, its ego. It stayed the way it is. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji explains that, look, some people that are come to the Guru's house, and they come with such sweetness. Their sweetness allows them, when their heart is so pure, their heart is so truthful, just like Joga Singh. Their heart is so pure that when they come to the Guru, they become the form of the Guru. And some, they come, they pretend to dissolve into the Sangat. They pretend to take the form of the Sangat. But Pyareo, they do not let go of their true form. They are still filth. They may act like it on the outside, but on the inside, halevi, mittiya, they're still filthy. And the third, some come to the Guru's house. They do not even want to fall at the feet of the Guru. Instead, they challenge the Guru. They stay stubborn like that rock, and they just drown like that. That is the state of some people coming to the Gurdwara. Some people coming to the path of Sikhi, path of spirituality, path of the Guru. Pyareo, we want to be like that mithas. The truth is, if somebody's heart is truthful, if somebody is truly the form of such inside of them, they come with such sweetness and such nimrata, they become the form of that Guru themselves.
So how did you guys find the video? Okay.
Good.
Good. Okay. Next video. Uncle, you'll be here next week, okay? Just guys know the video. So you just got me a message today. Okay. Okay. Okay, here is another interesting topic. Just found the video. Oh, here it is. This one.
In January this year, I did ayahuasca with a shaman from Colombia. Now, for those of you who have never heard of this.
So the question is around guilt and blaming yourself and not forgiving yourself. How do I forgive myself? How do I move on? How do I stop myself from blaming myself for the things that I've done? When we understand that every single person acts in what they feel is best at that moment, every single person and every action that they have done, they did assuming and thinking that that was best. Either it was best for them, or it was best for someone else, or this was the only choice that they had. Every human being acts in this way where they think what I'm doing right now is the right thing to do. Nobody acts thinking this is the wrong thing to do. Nobody thinks, even if they know what they're doing may hurt someone, even if they know what they're doing is illegal or not allowed or will be frowned upon, even then, what they're doing is, I think this is right for me. So everything that you have done in your past is what you thought at that moment was acceptable to do, what you thought was the right thing to do. Now, the only place where guilt comes from is where you now, in this present moment, know better. When you did an action, at that point you thought it was best. But then after that, the consequences were maybe not in your control, were not what you expected. It didn't turn out how you wanted it to. Or you did something where you knew you were going to hurt someone and now you regret hurting that person, but you still did it at that moment. You knew that you may hurt someone, you may be doing something that is not in favor of someone else, but you still chose to do it at that moment. What you know now is not what you knew back then. And that's something for you to understand very clearly within yourself. Who I am at this moment is not who I was at that moment. And who I am now may not have made that choice. But at that moment, that was the only choice that seemed like the right one. So when you blame yourself, what you are doing is judging a past version of you based on the knowledge that you have now. If you had the same knowledge back then, you wouldn't have done it. But you didn't have that knowledge. You didn't have that experience. You didn't know then what you know now. And blaming yourself for acting in a way based on what you thought was best is a way to only live in suffering now. That's all you're doing. You're carrying that guilt. So what do I do? How do I stop thinking about those mistakes that I've made? What you need to do is not carry that mistake any longer. The mistake that was made is not something that you can change. You may be able to do actions now to then rectify the problem. You may be able to do some good things now to change what happened and to try and fix the problem. But the act that was done in the past cannot be changed. So the only choice you have right now is, will I carry on carrying that burden, or can I make peace with myself to make a choice to let go of that burden? Can I let go of the mistake that was made? I accept that it was a mistake. I accept it wasn't the right thing to do. I accept that I know now what I didn't know then. I accept that I would not do that thing now, what I did back then. But I did it. It was there. I cannot change the past, but I choose happiness now. I choose to let go now of the past. That past is always going to be there. You're never going to be able to erase that past. But rather than carry that burden with you, you can leave it so that as time moves on, you're getting further and further away from that trauma. You either carry that trauma with you every moment, or you let it go where it is and you move on. That trauma will never go away. It's always going to be there, but you don't have to carry it with you at every moment. And that's the only way to forgive yourself, to acknowledge that this was a mistake that I will not make again. It's not what I would have done, but it is what I did at the time, and that's what I felt was best. Know that this is something that only you can let go of. If people keep throwing your mistake back at you, then the only thing that you can do before you get anyone else's forgiveness is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself first. Acknowledge the pain that you've caused others, but also acknowledge that that's not who you are anymore. Let go of being that person. Do not be that old you. Be the present version of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you benefited from that. If you'd like to help us create more spiritual content, then head over to our website, nanaknaam.org/donate, and think about setting up a regular monthly donation. We're a 100% non-profit organization.
Okay, here is another video. You change your life. Another video that I'm checking. Okay, we'll talk number one. And Sikhi, period. Sikhi to the next.
So I can definitely say, if it wasn't for SeekNet, I really don't think I'd be here today. Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh. I'm Kiranjit Kaur. I'm 26 years old and I'm a newly qualified doctor. And it wasn't until second year of med schools I fell into really deep depression, quite suicidal depression. I would start to kind of self-harm, which would be by like kind of hitting myself and things. My mind was racing too much. When you know something's not right, it kind of makes it worse because half of your mind is in the mode of everything's rubbish, your life's rubbish, you're incapable of being a normal human being and all these sort of things. The other half of my mind is saying, no, this isn't right, there's more to this. And just imagine having an argument in your head 24/7 about everything that you think, everything that you say, every interaction you have with someone. And then all of a sudden I got to a situation where I was like, actually, I really don't like myself because I'm like this and I'm thinking this way. To be quite honest, it was just relieving to think if I just jumped out of a window, it would be amazing. So the best way to do the kind of ultimate CFI in my eyes was to do medicine and help people be healthy, and then they can help other people. As I started getting help from the doctor, a lot of health professionals are aware that meditation and all these things help, and I just thought, hold on a minute, I used to do a lot of meditation before, used to do Nithanem all the time, used to listen to Gurbani Media Centre all the time from SeekNet, and listen to the Hukamnamas. Why don't I try that again? I've got all this access. Because in York, where I was studying, I don't think there's a single Gurdwara there. So it was like, I don't need to have a physical Sikh community around me, I've got it online. So I started listening to the Gurbani Media Centre, the Kirtan on there that I used to listen to that made me fall in love, so from Hari Bhajan Kaur and Sanatam Kaur, all these relaxing Kirtan that really kind of sunk in and kind of linked with my mind and calmed me down. So I started listening to that and started feeling more positive. And I remember one of the first times I was listening to it, after all this, I just burst into tears because I was just like, wow, I have lost the sense of myself so much from what I was like before I started medicine, when I was at home and I would do Simran all the time. If I think about what my life would be like without SeekNet, so first of all, I'd say I probably wouldn't be so much into Sikhi to begin with, because SeekNet is what inspired me to kind of understand in depth what Sikhi was about. You can sit down and listen to Gurbani, but sometimes it's hard to kind of link it with your mind and it becomes a very repetitive thing. All of a sudden it became, okay, this is actually to help me with my calming of my mind, to concentrate on my mind, meditation, and then because you're calm, you probably concentrate more in the day. That will help with your studies. As time's gone on, is checking in with myself, what's the purpose of my life? The purpose of my life, in my opinion, is to help people. So that's how I got into medicine.
Do you sometimes find the fear of what could happen is making nothing happen in your life? If so, I want you to come down here with me.
For me, SeekNet is the funnel every time. some reason it takes a while for me to realise, okay, remember Kieran, this is what helps. But when I do it, and I listen to that Barney again, when I get into the routine of Hukam Nama in the morning, listening to translations from SikhNet, playing Gurbani Media Centre, listening to the videos, Gurkha Singh and Gurmastik Singh, helps me reassess my life again. And it just makes me think, wow, all this other stuff is not important. Being a doctor or any bit of, I've worked 7 years for this, I need to graduate. That doesn't matter anymore. There's lots of other things that I want to do in my life, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not good at that either. That means I'm rubbish. No, what I really deeply believe, the reason why I'm really here, is to help people. To say SikhNet has influenced my life is, I feel like, doesn't even cover how much it has influenced my life and how much it's helped me be the better version of myself and be a happier version of myself. You can pick up something on there, no matter how you're feeling, and just take some time out and listen to it. And I think the fact that there's some things in English as well is quite handy, because a lot of people our age don't know much Punjabi or know the meanings of Gurbani and the Punjabi words. There is nothing else out there that's like SikhNet. Nothing so holistic, nothing so easily accessible, everything in one place like SikhNet.
When Guru Mastik and I travel around the world, we hear the most intimate stories from people sitting together after Gurdwara or in someone's home. People open up and they tell us what their lives are like, and what we're seeing is a lot of people who are lonely, a lot of people who are depressed, a lot of people who are having trouble just making it through their lives. That feeling of support and understanding that Kiranjit Kaur got from SikhNet at the time she most needed it, that's the work we do. We have 24-hour counseling available. We have the youth question and answer forum. We have Gurbani resources of so many kinds, and stories and essays. So many things that people can look at, can hear, can see, can turn to elevate themselves and find support. Just like Kiranjit, you and other people can find support on SikhNet, but only if SikhNet's there, and we need your help to keep SikhNet going. Now's the time of our annual fundraiser, and we need to raise $300,000 by the end of December to sustain our operations and develop new apps and keep our services on the air. Won't you open your heart and your wallet and lend a hand and help us meet our goal? Thank you.
Okay.
Everything in life is a negotiation. When you cross the street is a negotiation. Getting
In their short video, I'm going to show you guys. You might have seen this one. So, no.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Hardev Singh Khalsa. I'm 29 years old. I have been a practicing Sikh for 8 years now, and I received Amrit when I was 21 years old. Growing up in the Roman Catholic tradition from Memphis, Tennessee, I never thought I would become a Gursikh. When I was 18 years old, I was in a motorcycle accident. I went to the ICU, or the intensive care unit, for 33 hours. I bruised my frontal cortex in my brain. I was in college at the time, and I struggled with my studies. I happened to be caught by the police for having alcohol, possession of alcohol, in my dorm room, and I went to jail for 13 days. I went home after the motorcycle accident, after struggling in school, and after going through 13 days of jail, I was thirsty. I was hungry for something real, something true. I was sick and tired of lies to myself and lies to my family. One day I went to a yoga class. I sat down. We did the yoga. And at the end of the class, the teacher instructed us to utter this mantra. And little did I know that these words would change the trajectory of my life. And those words were Satanam, Waheguru.
Satanam Waheguru, Satanam.
After that yoga class, I was lit. I went to my dad's office and opened up his laptop and I began to search all things Satanam Waheguru. And that's when I found SikhNet. As the days went on, I just remember being in my dad's office, morning, afternoon, night, lunch, dinner. I was reading all sorts of content about the gurus and the history. I began my sadhana, daily practice. I began chanting every Amar Vela. And for the first time in my life, I felt so alive, so lifted, elevated, light, happy. For the first time in my life, was able to say no to drinking, no to smoking weed, and no to the drugs that came around, no to the late night parties. SikhNet gave me the resources, the support I needed at a time that was most crucial in my life to walk this path. For 8 years, I've been living as a Gur Sikh, and I could have never have imagined the positive changes I've experienced mentally, emotionally, physically, that I've accomplished living this lifestyle. The relationship with my family has improved from confusion to respect. My life has always been about serving God, and I thank the Creator for every opportunity in doing so. And I wouldn't want to entertain what my life would be like without SikhNet. SikhNet is an amazing resource, and it was an amazing resource for me in my time of need. It was because of donors like you and your support that supported me, and people like me who need the Guru's message, who want the Guru's message. Please take the time today to donate so that SikhNet can continue to serve its mission. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
One more video for the time ends. This one's a little short one.
ਉਹ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਲਾਈਫ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਇਦਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਐਵਰੀਥਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਨੋਰਮਲ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਨੋਰਮਲ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਪਰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਨੋਰਮਲ ਆ
When I first started my business, you work very hard in the week, very long hours, and the release from that was to go to the pub and the bar, at the end of the week, and you often wouldn't come home till 1-2 in the morning, and that would happen almost every week, so that was normal to me.
We know that he was earning lots of money for us, but still ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੰਪਲੇਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੰਦੇ
There just seemed to be no respite. There was no time to even think about a deeper meaning to life. And it didn't feel like a vicious circle in a nasty way all the time. There would be some real great times and some great experiences. But they're quite temporary.
Children, actually this one changed our life. ਜਦੋਂ ਛੋਟਾ ਬੇਬੀ ਸੀਗਾ he was 6 months old first time ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਬਾਲ ਕੱਟੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਲਾਈਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਲ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੇਅਰ ਡਰੈਸ ਦੇ ਲਿਆਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਬਾਲ ਕਟਵਾਉਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਲਾਈਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਰੋਂਦਾ ਸੀ I don't want to cut my hair anymore and then he said why we are eating meat So then we, four of us, we promised each other we are not going to eat meat anymore.
So when he decided to keep his hair, not long after, I felt that I needed to do something, and I need to then embrace the teachings and the faith. It's the Simran is the thing that we've introduced most into our lives. So we do mornings at home and evenings before we go to bed.
It basically just calms me down. So even if I've been having a really bad day, I could just concentrate on what I'm doing more. It felt like I was actually having some mindfulness time away from all my studies and stuff, so it was very peaceful.
Sitting down and doing Simran, I feel better. I started on 5 minutes, then I increased it to 10, then 15, and now I'm on 20 minutes.
It just feels like I think we appreciate each other more, we appreciate the children more, we appreciate our surroundings more, because you've got more time to pay to those things. And you only get any of this if you sit down and do the practical steps, and that's sitting and doing the Simran. When these feelings start happening to you as a result of the Simran and the meditation, I mean, you can't verbalize that to people. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's like a huge change in our life.
Okay. Do you guys find the video good? Good? Anything interesting?
Good.
Good. Okay, so short note. So Uncle Ji messaged me, he'll be back next week. And how's your week? School going good? Good. Okay, so I'll just end it off with a short note and then we'll see next weekend, okay?